Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be painting Bigfoot in VR in a program called Vermilion, and I'm going to read some stories about Bigfoot, some encounters, while painting. So this first story is told by an ex-combat vet who retells his encounter in May 1981. So he had survived tours in Iraq and Afghanistan and had been wounded twice before returning home in 2011. He, at the time, was stationed at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and one winter night in January, he found himself on guard duty at a medium-sized perimeter station. Surrounded by concrete walls 2 feet thick and solid steel blast door a foot thick. Situated just about half a mile from the Missouri River. His fellow guard stepped out for a smoke in the midst of a midnight snowstorm. Within minutes, frantic banging on the door startled him. Opening it, he explained, "What the F? You just went out there." The guard responded, "There's something out there. It's not a man. It's not an animal." Though no screams were audible, something large lurked just beyond the woods. About 100 feet away, a terrifying roar echoed through the snow-laden night. They hastily retreated inside, securing the door. Soon, powerful bangs reverberated against the door, triggering combat instincts. Monitoring the situation through station monitors, they glimpsed only at the top of the creature's head. After the mysterious entity departed, they curiously opened the door, revealing dents in the solid metal. Still haunted by the experience, the veteran disclosed the chilling encounter to only his comrade, who shared the duty that night. The story left an incredible mark, forever altering both of their lives. In the early 90s, this former Navy SEAL said that he was part of a team sanctioned by an alphabet government agency on a mission to neutralize aggressive Sasquatch in the High County of western North Carolina. Initially skeptical during the mission, the severity of the situation became evident through images of the creature's actions shown by the government agents. So, the team, including the man's Native American partner, arrived in a mountain village town greeted by a sheriff who expressed relief at their presence. The sheriff detailed the destruction and killings inflicted by the creatures, leaving the man's partner visibly shaken. As they prepared to track the Sasquatch, the partner mentioned how his grandfather's tales about fighting wild men suddenly seemed more and more than mere stories. Commencing the mission at 1400, the team discovered numerous tracks and tracked at least 7 different individuals. First contact occurred around 1930, and the point man reported encountering a massive creature. Despite firing a 7.62mm round, the creature displayed resilience, needing a full auto response to bring it down. Over 3 intense days and nights, the team confronted and eliminated 7 Sasquatch, finding the remains of missing people along the way. One team member was tragically snatched into a tree beyond rescue. The memories of these 3 days haunted the man, absent from official military records or mission logs. In the debriefing, the team was informed that they underwent rigorous mountain training, losing a member during the process. Government agents later arrived to remove all 7 Sasquatch corpses, including the mission under a shroud of secrecy. That's crazy. If this is true and they were sent out to eliminate Sasquatches, that would explain why we never find a body. Maybe the government will get rid of any evidence for whatever reason, they don't want anyone to know about it, and they'll remove the bodies and any evidence that they find. It could be that these people that go missing mysteriously, maybe sometimes it's Sasquatch. But that's crazy. So this next one is very interesting. I found this while looking through stories. So Vladimir Putin had a Yeti sighting. So yeah, Yetis are, of course, Bigfoot that live in the cold areas. So they have longer hair, usually white, grayish, sometimes brownish. So apparently, in March 2016, Vladimir Putin and his security team declared that they had encountered 3 Russian Yetis during a visit to a remote village in Siberia. So claiming to have personally witnessed the creatures during a helicopter trip to a renowned Yeti sighting location, Putin and his entourage reported spotting an adult male Yeti, a female, and a smaller Yeti child about 150 meters away. I'm not sure how to say this name. Dmitry Ivanov? I think it's Dmitry Ivanov, a national park wildlife expert, accompanying the group, detailed how the creatures initially observed them and then took substantial strides into the trees, reappearing briefly out of curiosity, before swiftly disappearing again. Covered in thick gray hair, the creatures left footprints in the freshly fallen snow, confirmed by Putin's security. So there were footprints that were released by the Kremlin press service. So there were supposed images of the footprints that were released by the Kremlin press service, but it was uncertain whether they were real. An accomplished photographer on the same trip captured them. So President Putin, known for wildlife conservation efforts, he's known for that? I didn't know he was known for wildlife conservation efforts. Anyway, he expressed awe at the sighting. Scientists from the Siberian branch of the Russian Academy of Science were tasked with investigating the discovery while emphasizing the protection of Yetis in their natural habitat. Wow, that's the story. That's what I found about Putin and Yetis. I don't know if that's true, but that's what it says. So next is the Bosick encounter. On the night of December 2nd, 1974, at 10:30 p.m., 68-year-old dairy farmer William Bosick, who owned a dairy farm near Frederick in Polk County, Wisconsin, encountered a perplexing phenomenon. Having attended a farmers' co-op meeting in Frederick, he was driving back to his rural house southeast of Frederick when, approximately a mile from his farm, he spotted an unusual object on the left side of the road. Driving cautiously due to patches of fog, Bosick observed an 8 to 10 foot tall, motionless object that reflected his car's headlights. The object had a transparent sector resembling glass, forming a shell or bell shape on top, revealing an occupant inside with arms raised above its head. Despite referring to it as a man, the creature displayed non-human characteristics, including stiff hair on the sides of its head, a hairless face, large protruding eyes, and ears resembling those of a young calf. Dressed in something tight-fitting, possibly covered with brown fur, the creature's lower part was obscured by the fog. Overcome with fear, Bosick accelerated away, experiencing a strange dimming of his car's headlights and hearing a friction-like noise. Back home, attempts to observe the encounter location from his house were prevented by the fog. So this could be, sounds like some kind of Bigfoot alien or something. The next morning, he returned to the site but found no traces of the encounter, except a flattened circular area in one version of the story. Initially, he kept the incident to himself for almost a month before contacting a newspaper, eventually attracting the attention of APRO investigators. He was known for his good reputation, expressed a willingness to undergo a lie detector test to validate his account, emphasizing his sincerity. Reflecting on the encounter, he regretted not showing friendliness and expressed a wish to meet the mysterious being again. That was an interesting possible Bigfoot alien. Some people think that Bigfoot is alien. I don't know. I would say he's not, but I don't even know anymore. There's so many encounters and strange stories. So anyway, the next story is from a man living in Houston, Texas. He doesn't give a name, but he's 68 years old, from Houston, and he recounts a bizarre encounter with Bigfoot in Buffalo Bayou back in 1979. So having recently moved to Houston, he found himself lost in the Buffalo Bayou Park area one morning after leaving his new girlfriend's place around 4:00 a.m. Desperate for directions to Allen Parkway, he pulled off the road hoping to find someone nearby. He spotted someone walking by the water to his left, and he called out to the person. As he approached, he noticed the person was unusually tall and big. Even in the limited light within 10 feet, he realized something was off. The person had long hair extending down to the chest, and the entire body was covered in hair. Feeling a sudden unease, he told the figure never mind and hastily retreated back to his car. Glancing back, he saw the tall, hairy figure still staring at him. Speeding away, he tried to make sense of the encounter, not giving much thought to Bigfoot in a city like Houston. So the next day, sharing the strange incident with his brother, he learned about the other Bigfoot sightings in the Buffalo Bayou area. Interestingly, another local had a similar experience while gar fishing along the shore. Startled to find a 6-foot-tall dark brown Bigfoot behind him, the fisherman made a quick exit, leaving a caught gar on the ground. Glancing back, he saw the Bigfoot grab the fish and sprint downstream towards the trees, adding another puzzling chapter to the strange tales of the Buffalo Bayou. So that's interesting. So this next story happened on Memorial Day weekend in 2017. This person was hiking alone on the Tyrrell Pond Trail near Blue Mountain Lake in Hamilton County in the Adirondack Park in New York State. So approximately 1.5 to 2 miles down the trail, they reached a clearing that appeared to be from logging operations on a private road, facilitated by a park easement for the trail. So while pausing to take a drink from their backpack, they witnessed a large grayish silver Bigfoot emerge from a cluster of small trees, bush, and debris on a small rise, located at their 1 o'clock position about 80 yards away. The creature took 3 to 4 strides before disappearing back into cover. The initial shock led the hiker to attempt rationalization. So, a few seconds later, the Bigfoot reappeared at the 2 o'clock position further up the slope, taking 5 to 6 strides before vanishing behind another mass of debris. The hiker, still in disbelief, contemplated waiting to see if the creature continued up the mountain. However, with no sign of its presence, they mustered the courage to explore the other side of the rise. Finding no movement or sound, the hiker grew uneasy, suspecting the creature might be hiding and watching. Deciding to head back due to being alone and unarmed, the hiker, though not feeling threatened, was visibly shaken. Approximately a quarter of a mile back down the trail, they heard a sequence of wood knocks, 5 or 6 in quick succession, originating from their 7 o'clock position. Rationalizing it as a woodpecker, the hiker remained vigilant, occasionally checking behind and proceeding cautiously. Continuing on the trail for another half a mile, the same wood knock sequence occurred, now closer at their 9 o'clock position. Despite the uncertainty, the hiker pressed on, and the rest of the hike out remained uneventful. So that's interesting, they actually saw it twice. So they're saying the observed Bigfoot appeared to be between 6.5 to 7.5 feet tall, roughly 2 times wider than an average person, silver gray hair with tan brownish features around the face and presumed ear areas. The creature exhibited a powerful build, slightly hunched forward posture, swinging arms close to the knees, and a head positioned low on broad shoulders. The creature's swift and seemingly effortless movements bore a resemblance to the iconic Patterson-Gimlin film. Yes, we all remember that one, the Patterson-Gimlin film. The painting's coming along okay. This was a difficult, kind of a hard one to do. But, I'll show the final result at the end. It came out okay. This next story happened in Sussex, England, by a lady named Carolyn. So she was 34 years old and walking her dog. She recounted her encounter with a hairy ape man on the Sussex Downs. She had her camera with her and was photographing her border collie Ash. She said she was able to capture a grainy image of the massive Bigfoot that ran past her in the woods. The creature, covered in thick black fur, stood upright like a man. Carolyn, a building society worker from Littlehampton, speculated it could be Bigfoot, emphasizing the sheer size and resemblance to other reported sightings. The estate, known for big cat sightings, has sparked speculation and reports of various cryptids over the years. Yes, I've heard of the big cats around in England. It's pretty cool that there's Bigfoot too. Bigfoot sightings there. So this was an account passed down through relatives and often kept private. It revolves around Native Americans and their encounter with a Sasquatch known as the Scanticum. Born of Sasquatch lineage and believed to be more human than average, during the 60s, rumors circulated about a Jesuit taking a non-human entity resembling a freak, that's what it says freak, and keeping it in the church basement. The creature, akin to a Sasquatch-human hybrid, grew increasingly bold, breaking into houses and terrorizing a specific family. One night, the father was violently yanked off the porch by an unseen force, leaving the family traumatized. The men of the community formed a recovery mission and discovered the hairy man, a Sasquatch, whom they killed with deep regret and guilt, emphasizing the human-like nature of these beings. So I guess they had to kill him, or thought they had to kill him, and felt really bad about it. The incident remained shrouded in secrecy, reflecting the tight-lipped nature of the indigenous community regarding such encounters. So they don't talk about that much. That's very interesting. They had a human Sasquatch hybrid, and he was in a church. He was being kept in a church basement, and then would get out and harass people. I've never heard of that before. So this is a story that somebody who calls himself Jay is telling about when they were younger, and they said that they saw a juvenile Bigfoot. So they were left by their mom at the Green River in Kentucky while on a fishing and camping trip with their brothers and their mom, I guess. Despite being warned about the tree line housing homeless people, Jay ventured in in search of bait, only to stumble upon an inexplicable creature. So, Jay's head was down, searching for rocks, when they encountered a human-like feet with wood-like toenails. As they looked up, a creature with a mixture of hair and bare skin emerged, standing less than 10 feet away. The creature's eyes held galaxies of colors: brown, green, reddish, and blackish. Startled, both Jay and the creature seemed to accidentally run into each other. When the creature stepped back into sunlight, its fur became nearly invisible. Struck with fear, Jay, initially mistaking it for a homeless man, couldn't comprehend the experience. So his fur looked invisible. That's interesting. Later, obsessed with Bigfoot, Jay shared their story. Haunted by the memory, the creature seemingly cloaked itself like the predator, blending in with the sunlight reflecting off its fur. Jay expressed concern about potential skepticism and feared worse outcomes when sharing their story. The encounter, once thought to be a homeless person, now resonates as a significant encounter with a mysterious being. So that sounds a little bit like the Glimmer Man. I've heard other stories where the Glimmer Man looks big, like maybe a Bigfoot in shape and size. Other times it just looks like a regular person. But that's an interesting one. The Glimmer Man Bigfoot. If Bigfoot is able to cloak itself like that, it would be very hard to find Bigfoot. So anyway, the next story is from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. So this next one happened in Williamsport, Pennsylvania in the early 1970s. Sarah and her boyfriend Chip embarked on a mountain ridge trip in north-central Pennsylvania. A seemingly innocent evening turned into a terrifying encounter. Despite intending to visit Skyline Road, they ended up on a neighboring mountain with no other cars in sight. Alone and surrounded by the beauty of the valley, they parked the car to enjoy the view. Suddenly, an intense urge prompted Sarah to lock all the doors. Despite Chip's skepticism, she secured the car as they immersed themselves in the night sky. A powerful pull and rocking motion startled them. A large humanoid creature covered in hair was at Sarah's door, Pulling the handle, the creature's strength caused the car to rock intensely. Fortunately, the locked door prevented its entry. Chip swiftly started the car, prompting the creature to move swiftly down the mountain, avoiding the car's headlights. It vanished into the densely wooded area. Sarah described the creature as Bigfoot-like, massive, with no defined neck, covered in hair, and exhibiting a violent intent. After the incident, Sarah contemplated reporting it to the police, but Chip believed they wouldn't be believed. Sarah considered it to be a miraculous escape, with a guardian angel possibly intervening to secure the locked door. Despite skepticism about Bigfoot, the encounter left Sarah convinced of its existence. Years later, online research revealed Pennsylvania as a high-incidence area for such sightings, affirming the reality of their frightening encounter. Okay, this next one is from a retired 24-year veteran from the Canadian Forces, and also a scientist. He encountered a perplexing series of events in May 2018 in a Manitoba town just south of Winnipeg. Completely sober and drug-free, the narrator noticed a massive figure on their back deck, covered in black fur and standing approximately 8.5 feet tall. Fearing for safety, he armed himself with a knife, bat, and revolver, remaining vigilant through the night. The strange occurrences continued the following evening at 3 a.m., when a young female about 7.5 feet tall appeared on the back deck, possessing the body of a gymnast and an attractive human face. So she swiftly leaped away with remarkable speed and agility. The next day revealed yet another encounter, this time with a massive white-haired being, standing over 10 feet tall. The creature moved across the backyard with an eerie ghost-like stride, leaving the narrator disturbed by the surreal events. Yeah, I bet that's terrifying. Speculating that the beings could be a family navigating through the area using water, the narrator explored the nearby river trails. The discovery of spray-painted monkey trails on the entrance sign, along with signs of the creatures passing through, heightened the mysterious nature of the encounters. Among the findings were unusual structures resembling hunting blinds made from twisted and torn trees. So this last story was experienced by a man and his family. It doesn't say where this happened. So he and his family experienced unsettling phenomenon around their property. Arriving home around 11 p.m. one night, they heard disturbing noises, including loud knocking sounds and distressing screams, resembling an animal in great pain. The man's son, waiting for the school bus one morning, reported hearing those alarming screams. Tensions escalated when, during an evening on the back deck with his 3 pit bull terriers, he sensed an unknown presence. The usually composed dogs, upon detecting the threat, stood still and silent, then hastily retreated indoors, leaving the man puzzled. As he lingered, a loud snap echoed, akin to a small tree breaking in half. Initially skeptical and rational, this man was a lifelong hunter, familiar with the local wildlife. He knew the sounds of the location. However, his skepticism wavered when he encountered something unexplainable. Returning home around 11 p.m., as his headlights swept across the tree line bordering his driveway, he was startled by a pair of wide-set greenish, shining eyes. The anomaly stood at least 8 feet tall, bipedal, humanoid, with a reddish-brown body. Swiftly, He parked his car and sought refuge inside, shaken by the encounter. So that's it, that's all the stories, and this is how the painting came out. Looks okay. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be putting another video up soon with better camera. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.